Hello.
Hi, Kenny.
How are you?
I'm very well. I am in my daughter's room right now. If you are wondering where I'm at, it's 9 p.m. here. So, how are you?
I'm good. It's absolutely bucketing rain in
Oh, wow.
Singapore. Yeah, heavy, heavy, heavy rain. But I think it's just that time of the year. So I was like super excited to chat to you today. And I was saying, okay, I have to run. I have to do great things and be healthy and be motivated like Chriselle. And it rained, and I was like, okay, 4 more hours in bed. Let's do that
I
instead.
mean, sometimes you just gotta chill. That's the best way of self-care.
It's great to see you. How are the girls?
Well, the girls, one of them is here. Say hi,
Oh,
Chloe.
hello. Hello, Chloe.
It is a Friday night here in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
so I told her that she could stay up a little bit tonight, which is past her
Oh,
bedtime, but she
nice.
really wanted to join our live. So I told her that she can join our live as long as she is quiet. So
She might want to answer some questions about fashion too.
oh
She
yeah.
has opinions.
Yeah, she definitely has opinion when it comes to the fashion that she wears. I am not allowed to touch her clothes. Right,
Really?
Chloe? Am I allowed to dress you? No.
No.
Who picked out
I.
this outfit today? Yes, you.
It's very pretty. It's super nice. It goes with the interior.
Yes.
It's all pink. If she ever grows out of loving pink, you have an issue.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, Chriselle, the last time we saw each other in real life was at Paris Fashion Week,
I
which
know.
was in March, in late February and March. I saw you at the Loewe show. You were tugging this humongous bag of
Yeah.
samples. And I was like, Chriselle, have you got baby number 3 in there? Because it's huge.
God,
And,
that was
I mean,
literally right before COVID broke out everywhere, and it was just like the brink of it. I felt like, and I can't believe where we're all at now. It's
I know.
insane.
When you think back to those days when we were doing Fashion Week and, being in the environment that we were in, sitting with thousands of people in that space, do you go back to think about that moment and, do you have anything that runs through your head that you wish you had done, before this whole COVID thing hit?
Yeah, well, I was almost about to cancel my trip just because it didn't hit the States yet, but that was when I didn't go to Milan, but then Milan broke out during that time, and I was watching it all happen when I was in Los Angeles. So I was this close to being like, maybe I shouldn't go, but I decided to go just because we had a ton of just, responsibilities that we had to take care of out there. And so we went and yeah, I think everyone was really nervous. Like everyone was kind of, that was the topic that everyone was talking about. And so when I do look back, I'm thankful that I came out of it healthy, and all of my peers around me are healthy and safe, because anything really could have happened during that time. But I didn't realize that we're all going to get to this point. So I'm just really grateful, if anything. How about you?
I think, when COVID really hit Milan and all the editors in Singapore, and I remember all of us were actually huddled together and having a discussion. And a couple of editors actually canceled and said, I'm not going to take the risk. My parents are not happy I'm going. Things are like, because I think it hit Asia because, it's sort of originated from Wuhan.
Yeah.
So we were a lot more conscious of how badly it hit. We were a lot more conscious that it happened just at the time of Chinese New Year. So it was something that was very real to us, I think, in our part of the world. So when we were all considering about going to Paris, Milan, New York, it was a real situation. We saw the deaths that was happening. we decided, like another editor and I from the same company, we decided that we were going to go to Paris and just go for specific shows and try as much as possible to not sort of socialize, which is ironic because Fashion Week is about socializing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and I think another thing that happened that is something that's really unfortunate that's happening in Europe and also in America, was that a lot of Asians were being targeted for being, carriers, and this misnomer that, we were the ones who brought the disease, and it's really horrendous what's happening. Is that a situation that's still happening in America?
Yeah, I mean, I think we feel a little less of it here in Los Angeles because there's so many of us, so many Asians here. But I do have friends and family that are in other rural parts of the United States that are getting hate mail, they're getting hate messages, people are throwing things at their house. Like, it's just, it's not pretty. And the stories that I hear, it's quite heartbreaking. And yeah, it really has opened up my eyes to the racism that still currently lives here in the United States and all around the globe. But I personally haven't really left my house, so I haven't felt it. But even in Huntington Beach, which is not too far away from us in Orange County, there has been stories that have broke out. It's only like 40 minutes from us, and I'm just like, whoa, that's like our neighboring city, and like, have you never seen an Asian before? Like, why? What's going on? And I just can't believe that's the state that we're living in right now. But I think really the true colors of people come out during this time of how people treat each other. It's either you can support one another or you could, bring each other down. So I think the true color.
The only thing I feel that as media sort of honchos are, you running your own platforms, and with me heading up BAZAAR in Singapore, I think what I'm trying to bring is a sense of power to Asians, to know that, you're not alone, we're there with you. That, we all have to empower each other, I think, at this time. When there's so much uncertainty, there's so many job losses, people don't even know where the next meal is coming from for some people. So I think, it's almost, I call it World War III. We are in World War III. Yeah. It's just that we can't see the enemy. It's invisible, and it's around us and with us. And we just have to fight it together. And for the first time, I think in a long while, the focus has been thrown in a very negative light to a lot of Asians. And I think globally, we have to do what we can to support each other and try to find a better way out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the silver lining of this all is that, so many of us here, Asian Americans out here in the States, we've come together and we're trying to support each other, and we're trying to reach out to our community. And I think none of this would have really happened if COVID never has happened. So I think that's the silver lining of it all, is like we're really trying to come together here as Asian Americans to support those around us right now.
That's fantastic. And talking about support and the things that you've been doing now, I know about this wonderful project that you've done, this virtual school, BUMO. And it's actually also in our shores that, you actually have a class that's dedicated to Singapore. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about this education program that you started.
Yeah, well, first of all, I never ever planned to get into education. My heart and my whole life has revolved around fashion and beauty and lifestyle. So it was never a part of the plan. But after I had kids, I just experienced the pain points of parents and what we are going through. And really during this time of COVID and having to homeschool my own child, I was like, someone needs to create something that is more effective, because I suck as a homeschool teacher and I'm not cut out to be a teacher. So whole life, and she's built a wonderful Inc. 5000 education company. That's the only reason why I've been able to get this far with Boomo. And so what it is, it's essentially a virtual school. It's called Boomo Brain. And we are bringing human interaction to the core of virtual learning and virtual schooling. A lot of the things that are available right now is either kind of like the ABC Mouses, where you just kind of play games and you learn ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, or the traditional preschools. You throw like 20 kids in one Zoom class and expect them to learn. Like no, right. My child, Chloe, like I had to literally drag her into her Zoom class because she just had so much anxiety built up from this virtual world she's never have experienced before. So, this is very small class settings, anywhere from 3 to 5 students within one class. You get daily curriculum, an agenda that gets delivered to you every single day. You get sent a Boomo box, which has all the materials that you need to get to basically be able to do all the curriculum that Boomo sends you. And ever since we launched the enrollment about 3 months, we started it 3 months ago, and we launched enrollment a month and a half ago, and we are in over 50 countries, Singapore being one of the biggest international Asian countries that we've launched. And we didn't spend any money on marketing dollars, nothing. It was just, it's a need for parents right now during this time. It's hard for parents being stuck at home with their kids, trying to educate, entertain, engage. And, I think this allows parents it's a good resource for them to have during this time. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it's my baby. And I'm just so over the moon by the kind of response that it's gotten so far.
That's incredible. I mean, congratulations on that. And the fact that it's growing and it's on our shores in Singapore, I think that's fantastic. It shows the power of influence and the power of education, that people really want to learn. And talking about learning, I mean, you've been teaching us a few lessons with Rich Mom, huh? Tell us about how that whole thing on TikTok started, and this Rich Mom persona that you've got or gained in the process.
Gosh, well, TikTok, first of all, I joined as kind of like a joke, as most people do. I started December, right before Fashion Week. Right before Christmas, actually. And I just kind of downloaded it as a joke. I heard a lot of these kids talking about it, so I was curious. And I just kind of found it almost as a joke, but it was almost like a breath of fresh air when I downloaded and I saw the content, because I felt like what was happening on Instagram was, I used to look at this platform and found so much inspiration, but then what I think everything just started to kind of look the same. There's a lot of sameness, sponsors or sponsorships, because that's the business that I'm in, but there's so much of that, and I felt like I was missing out on a lot of just organic, brainless content that I used to post on Instagram, the things that I just wanted to post instead of sponsor things all the time, right? And so I think I just kind of missed that, and I wanted just to post things. And so that's what I started doing on TikTok, just to post something kind of not with no intention at all. And it just took off. It really just took off, because I was just posting these silly videos there was no point to it. But then I think that's what it is. There was no point to it, and people loved that. And it just started slowly growing. And then it was when I went to Paris. No, actually, it was when Parasite launched, the movie. A lot of these kids on TikTok, they don't know who I am because I'm way older than them. And so they started discovering me on TikTok, and they're like, "Hey, you look like the Rich Mom from Parasite." And so that was kind of the start of it, was from the Parasite movie. And then I went to Paris, and then obviously I'm living this fabulous Parisian dream life in Paris, because I'm in this fancy hotel. I'm in sitting front row of like these fashion shows. And these kids were like so fascinated. They're like, who is this rich mom? Like, what does she do? And then they started commenting on my TikToks like, hey, rich mom, like, hey mom, like, can you send me an iPad today? Hey mom, can you adopt me? Hey mom, like, I ran out of money, can I have some allowance? And I would just play along with them. I'll be like, sure, send me an allowance next week. And I think I was just playing along with them. And that persona just kind of developed from just having that kind of interaction with them. And now all of a sudden I'm TikTok's rich mom.
That's amazing. And where's Rich Dad? We want to see
Rich Dad is supposed to be up here. Chloe, can you go get Patty? Okay. Thank you.
Whenever he's free. So now tell me, Chriselle, if I'm going to venture into TikTok, what should I do? I mean, it's a scary environment.
It is. It's intimidating, definitely, when you like see it from afar, and especially coming from like the Instagram world where everything's so curated and everything like is planned out, and TikTok is just it's kind of the opposite of that, right? I would say don't do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing. Like, if you don't feel comfortable doing a dance, don't do it. I'm the worst dancer, and like every time I put up a dance, like I just kind of cringe. So I don't really do the dances. Is he coming?
He's dressing up.
Oh, he's dressing up. I think he's dressing up for you, Kenny.
Rich Dad.
Rich Dad is coming up. I don't know what he's gonna do, but let's hope that it's appropriate. But I think the key thing is just like do what feels right. And now my TikTok content has kind of leveled out. Where at first it was just like humorous, and it was just like funny jokes between like me and my husband, and like 5 of my favorite fashion brands, how to layer jewelry, you know, like more of the traditional kind of content that I usually would do. So I've started to weave that into TikTok, and it's been doing pretty well. And I think it's just about what you feel comfortable doing and just putting kind of like your spin to it.
Right. Okay, so I have to think about it. I have to think about what do people want to see of me out there on TikTok.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
Come on in. Oh my God.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Rich Dad.
Hey, Rich Dad.
Perfect.
Sake, baby.
What
No,
is
don't do
that?
that. It's very expensive, Chloe. Don't touch. Stop it! Or else I have to send mommy a new one.
Rich family life.
Rich Dad.
How are you doing, my brother?
How are you, Alan? I haven't seen
Good.
you forever and ever.
Dude, just living through every day.
We basically run a preschool, a nursery here now at our house.
It's great.
With
Chloe's
two little
just like
pests.
disrobing you.
Yeah. But we're doing well, and Alan's living the rich dad life.
So we're good.
Amazing. Alan, are you going to do your own, TikTok channel? Does he have his own TikTok channel?
No, he doesn't. I don't know if I want him to have his own TikTok channel.
What is that supposed to mean? Would you be jealous?
Maybe a little bit. I think you'd steal my thunder, actually.
Or you want some thunder down under later?
Okay, bye.
Oh,
Need to go.
I love it.
Just kidding.
Bye.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's love for you. That's love for you. You can't pay for this. You can't pay for this content.
Okay, come meet our friend. Meet our furry friend. Come here.
Okay, he's going to introduce you to our other family member. Not
I love
Colette.
this. This is becoming family. Oh, wow.
No.
He's beautiful. He's so beautiful.
Okay, guys, I need to finish my conversation.
You, Alan.
I'm gonna go with Daddy.
Stay
So
chic.
nice seeing you. You look amazing.
Thank you, Kenny. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
What?
Okay, bye, guys.
That was so good. You can't pay money for that, Chriselle.
That's just my everyday life.
Daily life like this with one more. That's just like 3/4.
I mean, it's every day is chaos here. It's absolute chaos, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I think I'll never ever get bored.
Never get bored.
Never.
You know, Chriselle, your persona, rich mom, it came sort of organically. How do you think that fashion, media, and influencers can work together better in this kind of post? I can't even say it's post-COVID. We are in COVID.
Yeah.
How do you think we can work better? I think, earlier we touched upon the fact that I think all Asian, communities should come together, help each other, which you see that happening with your other, influencer friends and social media power there. How do you think that fashion, media, and influencers can work better together?
I think I'm definitely seeing kind of everyone unite a bit more, whereas like before, just even like a year ago, like things were pretty separate, and even at like Fashion Week, it's like this is the editor side and this is the influencer side.
Yes.
But I think if anything now, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to do our jobs and get the message out there, whether it be as an influencer or whether it be through a media perspective. And so, I feel like media has been starting to open up to people like myself as an influencer to be able to share my story. And I think at the end of the day, it just really depends on what you stand for, right? A lot of people have some negative ideas and connotations of like what an influencer is like, and maybe they've had bad experiences before, but I think they just have to understand that not everyone is the same, and I think as long as everyone has like their own purpose that they're serving. So I don't know, I feel like you guys are doing a great job, Kenny, like with Harper. Like you guys are always supporting influencers and
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, from the start, right?
From the very
I've worked
start.
with some magazines that I won't, they would shut the door in my face, right? So,
Right.
I'm always so thankful for people like you who are more on the traditional media side that have always been kind of rooting for, people like me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you're so genuine and you're so kind and generous with your time, your advice, and what you give out, it feels real to us. And I think that's why the power that you've had and you have to influence goes beyond borders. And that really is the power that someone like yourself, can bring to the table. Traditionally, media, we talk to our community, which is very much local based, but because of social media and because, the tools in social media, how to use it best and, to really perpetuate something positive and good. And I think that's great. And you alter it according to the platform that you're on. I mean, we were talking about how you really started more in YouTube, but then sort of Instagram then took off, and then now TikTok's taking off.
Yeah.
Do you think TikTok's something that fashion brands could really embrace?
I think that they're trying to right now. I think they're trying to figure it out. Definitely there's a space for creators and influencers and people. I think for media, there's definitely a space. I think for brands, they're trying to figure it out because it's such a personality-driven platform. So how do you take a brand? I mean, maybe a brand that has like a creative director that is kind kind of the face of. Like, for instance, Olivier from Balmain, he started a TikTok, and he's quite interesting to watch, but people really associate him with the brand. I think there's other brands, such as like Givenchy, who I personally work with of their TikTok. But, you know, I think it's a little harder for brands, traditional brands like that, who don't really have like a creative director that is always in front of the camera. So I think there's going to be a learning curve, especially for brands, on how they're going to embrace it. Do they just throw like their original campaigns on there? I don't think that will perform that well. I think they, you know, who's doing a really good job? Gucci's doing a good job on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're doing good. But then you almost have to dedicate like a separate team to create TikTok content for your brand. And because you can't just throw old footage from your old campaign on there, because that just won't perform. But I think Gucci does have a separate team now that is just handling TikTok content, and you could tell, and they're growing on there.
Right. So it's a constant need. I mean, how do you feed all these beasts? You have YouTube, you have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have, you know, projects, you have Bumo. I mean, and you have 2 kids, and you have, you know, rich dad with his glasses. How do you manage all of that in 24 hours?
You know, I had a really hard time in the past 2 months, to be honest, because I'm the type of person that I'm such a go-getter, right? So if I put my mind to something, I'll do it. And if I don't do it, then I just won't sleep until I get it done. Like, that's always been my attitude. It's almost dangerous in a sense where I will sometimes risk like health and getting sick because I'm just so obsessed with getting things done. But then the past 2.5 months since we've been in COVID, it's been literally impossible for me to even get like 20% of my to-do list done. Like, because I'm homeschooling my kids. I have 2 kids at home. Alan just started going back to work, so it's just me right now with the kids. And it's impossible now. So I think the hardest part for me during this time was going to sleep knowing that my to-do list was incomplete, and like being okay with that, because I've never been okay with that. And so the past few weeks past few months, I just haven't been sleeping. But I honestly had like a breaking point the other week where I just needed sleep, and I slept for I think like 12. Yeah, I mean, I guess the answer to how do I get all this stuff done is I've kind of put my health like not as the front priority, and it's not healthy for anybody in my family, and that's something that I do have to change. But it's hard for me because I'm just I'm so obsessed with working and getting things done. So yeah, it's still something that I'm working on and trying to balance out in my life, because I'm just such an extremist whenever I commit to anything. So I get a lot done in one day, but it's not like the healthiest, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think fashion will engage and continue to engage with you know, influencers? How do you think they will be able to sell in this environment where everyone's at home? Fashion has, in a way, taken a backseat in the pandemic. And from your point of view, how do you see it coming out of this and doing it with meaning? Yeah.
Well, I know there are, especially on the influence side for fashion influencers, I know that a few of my peers and just people that I've heard from definitely have taken a great hit due to fashion brands not launching any products and activations and pulling back on, you know, campaigns and such. I personally, although I started off with fashion, and although I very much devoted and passionate about fashion brands, I actually work majority with beauty and lifestyle brands, just because of the type of content that I do. So I personally haven't really felt that, thankfully. But I think going back to the topic of fashion, I think they will get back. I think it's going to take time. I mean, fashion is definitely kind of the last thing that people are really thinking about during this time. But, you know, we're going through a challenging time, but it's not going to be like this forever. There's going to be a point in time where people will want to shop. Maybe the way that they shop might be different, but, you know, I think the coming months, like, we're going to definitely see things coming back.
Okay, that's good. And for beauty, I mean, is there a trend that's happening in beauty now where everyone's at home or working from home? Do you see...
Beauty is kind of like front of mind, I feel like, for people, especially that are at home. You know, they want to still take care of themselves, and they still want to feel good. And, you know, you might not be able to wear those fancy shoes out somewhere, but you could definitely put on that fancy cream and still feel good when you go to bed, right? So I think because of that reason, we've definitely seen a big spurt in just beauty activations and beauty partnerships. And it's been quite busy on that side, on beauty. It's interesting though, right? Because you think fashion and beauty kind of go hand in hand, which they do, but I feel like beauty is kind of its own category, especially when it comes to people want to take care of themselves right now. And I think when it comes to nutrition, wellness, skincare, that's like on top of mind for people.
Okay, that's really great. Has there been any specific fashion that you have ventured to do since you've been in quarantine? Are there specific looks that you would never normally wear and you decided to explore that?
Oh yeah, tie-dye. Like, I swear I would have never worn tie-dye if it wasn't for quarantine and TikTok. Every TikToker is wearing like tie-dye sweatshirts or whatever, so I think that kind of got to me. But I did Proenza. I do have this really cute Proenza tie-dye sweatshirt. I wore it today. I took it off. I should have kept it on for this conversation, but it's Proenza. So, and it's very light tie-dye. So I definitely have dabbled into tie-dye for that reason.
Fantastic.
But also just sweats, you know, like I'm wearing a sweatsuit right now. You know, I
know, but it looks so chic on you. Who's it by?
This is a brand called Entire World, and they have really great, just like classic basic sweatsuits. But yeah, I've always, my natural style is just getting dressed up. I love like overdressing versus underdressing. So I think just the fact that I'm enjoying being in sweats and trying to think of ways to make it look more chic and elevated versus just like sloppy and lazy, that's been quite exciting. So yeah, I actually did a video on like how to look rich. Yeah. And like, I guess people really care about how to look expensive in their sweatsuits.
For themselves. It's just for yourselves, because who's going to see it?
Yeah.
When do you think you will venture out of the house? You've been in self-quarantine with the family for 3 months, you've mentioned already. When do you think you would make them move to actually venture out?
Well, you know, it is easing up a little bit here in California. But to be honest, I think because I have kids, I'm just hyper cautious. If it was for myself, I probably would have like gone out and go to the grocery stores. I don't even go to the grocery stores because I've actually known people that have gotten COVID from just going to the grocery store. So
no way.
Yeah. I actually know one person that caught it from there, or thinks that they caught it from there. So we've been doing all online ordering, even for groceries. But, you know, I personally do want to go out, but because I have kids, I've chosen not to. And I don't know, it's really hard to say. Like, at the end of the day, my kids come first. And even if the schools do start again, I'm just questioning, like, do I want to even send them back to school at this point? You know, do we just wait until the new school year? Do we wait until a proper vaccine. So I don't know an answer. I don't have an answer to that. I think it's just when I feel like it's right, and I don't think it's right now for me to go out of the house with the kids.
And so the whole idea of travel, that's out of the window, right? That's just been thrown out of the window.
Yeah, but you know what, Kenny? I actually enjoy not traveling. Like, this is the break I really needed from traveling. I mean, you know how it is because you travel so much as well. But I always told myself after I had my second kid that I wouldn't travel as much. But of course, like, it just kept happening for work. And I think this has really forced me to stop traveling and just really figure out how to enjoy my life, like what is in front of me versus like always trying to think 10 steps ahead of me. And I've just really been enjoying my house, and I've actually been like doing interesting things that I would have never done, like gardening and baking and all of these things that I didn't know that I actually enjoyed. So yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with the travel right now, not being able to travel.
That's wonderful. I mean, I think I just want to thank you so much for entertaining us, giving us incredible content on all your platforms, educating us as well, educating moms, educating kids, giving us inspiration through your daily life. I think it has crossed different ways and, you know, kind of relate to you in so many different ways as well. And thank you so much as a friend that you're doing this wonderful IG Live with us today. I think I've learned so much. I've really learned so much.
Well, I want to see you on TikTok, okay? Like, I mean, we got to get Kenny on TikTok.
Okay. Maybe you send some suggestions through and I'll try.
I'm going to text you after this a few ideas of your first TikTok of what it can be. Yeah. You guys go find Kenny on TikTok now.
As long as I don't sing, I cannot sing.
Oh, I cannot sing either. You don't need to worry about that.
Thank you so much.
All right, love.
Thank you for being
with
us today.
Have
a great weekend ahead.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Lots of love from Singapore.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.